guys, welcome back to another episode of Purposefully Made. I'm Carol.
And I'm Sophie.
And today we're going to be talking about the new year, how to do proper goal setting or resolutions, and how to start this year on the right foot. The most important thing to understand when it comes to resolutions or starting the new year is that growth isn't an overnight thing. It's something that is a process. It's something that you do little by little. It's an everyday type of thing.
I think one of the largest parts of this is our phone, and I don't want to be that person that's always like, oh, it's those phones, but they really are. The serotonin that we get from just like the swipe of our finger, or the dopamine for a better word, that we get from just swiping our finger really processes as like, for our brain, we want things right now. We want that dopamine right now, and we don't like to work hard for things. The humans themselves strive to be better or to become better, but they don't strive for hard work. We don't strive for determination. And with all that, we've evolved to just kind of want things right now, as I've mentioned. And that's made us want things overnight, but nothing happens overnight. Things take time, and we have to do things at our own pace, especially if we're starting from like zero with like things like working out or eating healthier. And it's important to be kind to ourselves and know that nothing will ever happen overnight.
We see this a lot in the health industry with products for losing weight quickly or products that supplement nutritive vitamins that we need. And although it is effective and it does give you what you want in the moment, it isn't as rewarding. Because if you actually sit down, eat what you're supposed to eat, or go to the gym and actually work out, when you get those results, when you get what you were looking for, you feel a lot more dopamine because it's more rewarding. Think of it as a race. If you were doing a race or a marathon and you were put at the very finish line and they say, oh, you won, it wouldn't be as rewarding as if you had actually went ahead and ran the entire thing and struggled a little bit to be able to get that.
I think this also brings us towards our other topic, which is the difference between running on motivation and discipline, and the importance of not just running on different bursts of motivation, which is something I tend to do a lot, but instead making that routine and making that discipline to keep on working harder and harder every day to reach your end goal.
Obviously, everything isn't only in the mind, but it also has to do a lot with your actions. But however, it does start with your mindset. If you continuously tell yourself that you're gonna fail, that you're not good at it, that you're a procrastinator, you'll become exactly that. And you're not allowing yourself the chance to grow. And you're just putting mental barriers on yourself.
And I think that's one of the most beautiful parts about being a human, that we get to like fall down, pick up, and then continue to challenge ourselves every single day and just grow and grow from that. So what I think is important to like remind yourself of when you're coming to the topic of resolutions and goals and just becoming better is that there's no end to it. There's no perfect end that you're going to reach, and it's just a matter of continuing and improving every day, because there's always something you can improve.
And it's understanding that you're truly never ever going to be perfect, and that's totally okay. Like you said, it's just working on yourself every day and learning that there's always going to be something to work on.
A big part of the ATL skills class that we take in the school is SMART goals. SMART goals stand for a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goal. It's simply making sure that the goal that you make is genuinely something that you're going to stick to and something that's going to help you. Because you're not going to do anything if you just write down, oh, I'm going to get super strong by the end of this year. What will work is if you say, every week I want to go to Pilates class for 3 days out of the week, and I want to do 30 minutes, and then when I get home I want to stretch. And I want to do that until the end of the year. Things like that will work, and focusing on how you eat and everything, but that's out of the line. Basically what I'm saying is that when you are making these New Year's resolutions, it's important to not look at it as like you're just doing surface level. There's levels to making the goal, as well as writing down steps as to how you can achieve this goal. And something that I think is very important is that I caught myself doing this a lot, saying, I want to be less introverted by the end of this year. But I think it's better to look at it in a positive perspective. So instead of saying that, you could take that sentence and say, I want to be more outgoing, or I'd like to go out of my comfort zone more and just step out of my shell and talk to more people. Because I feel like that the more positively you look at it, the more willing you are to do it, instead of talking yourself down and saying, oh, you don't talk to anybody, you're never going to do it.
Something that works a lot for me is accountability. It's that when you share your goals with somebody else and you let them know what you're trying to do, it helps out a lot, because they're there to make sure that you're not slacking off or sleeping out. And when you do, they remind you and they call you out on it, which is exactly why high-performing athletes have coaches, to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and to track their progress. So it's very important to take advantage of the people around you and ask them for help.
Yeah, that's something I do when I clean my room, because most of the time I never end up cleaning my room. But something that's been helping me a lot is like just sending a picture to my mom or to a friend and being like, this is my room before, and making sure that I get that after picture, because your brain is going to want to meet that expectation that your friend or parent or whatever is holding for you.
It's not the same when only you know what you're doing, because it's easier to, again, slack off or not do it, than when you know someone else knows what you're doing, because, again, you don't want to let that person down or make that person think that you're not good enough to meet that certain expectation. And that's something that our mind does subconsciously. Something that is really effective for New Year's resolutions is taking a look at the previous year, because you can't set up goals or expectations for yourself if you're not sure what you need to get better at. So if you take a look at the previous year, you make note of everything that you want to improve on based on what you didn't do the previous year, and then you start working on it using the SMART goals, which makes things a lot more easier. When I was reflecting on my previous year, I had to remind myself constantly that I did more things or accomplished more things that I didn't do. So it's very important that when you're reflecting on the previous year, you don't beat yourself up or set too high expectations on yourself and only focus on what you didn't do. But it's also really important to focus on what you did do and look at the brighter side, like Sophia said, take a look at the more positive side so that you don't bring yourself down like that.
I think also it's good to remind ourselves that our goals don't have to be insanely big or like unachievable. You don't have to start a multi-million-dollar company in the year 2026. It's just good to be like, oh, I want to take my dog on a walk more. And that doesn't make it any less of a goal or any less better than making a multi-million-dollar company, because at the end of the day, it's benefiting you, and anything that benefits you is so important to like keep in mind of.
Any type of goal is valid no matter the size of it, because at the end, all you want is for yourself to be benefited and not to meet these impossibly high standards that society maybe has put on you, or that your family has, or that your friend has. And it's just genuinely knowing what is good for you and what you need to get better at.
For instance, one of my bigger goals in the year 2026 is to start using my phone less. I want to like limit my phone usage a lot, because I've noticed that I spend all my time on it. And the big reason why I don't do half the stuff that I don't do is because I'm on my phone. And a smaller one or a lower scale one is that I want to go out of my comfort zone more, whether that is trying out new roller coasters, things that I might not know I like. Because I saw this quote that said, you could be the greatest painter ever, but you've just never picked up a paintbrush. Mm-hmm. And I think that if I don't put myself out there, then I'm never going to really know what I like, what I don't like. And that's something I struggle with a lot. As well as just building on more hobbies, reading more books, and just becoming more knowledgeable.
For me, one of the bigger goals is finishing the book that I'm writing and building my social media webpage a lot more. So posting more reels, more stories, things like this, and just growing my following amount. And one of the smaller goals that I have is practicing my violin a lot more and just caring a little bit less about what other people think about me. At the end of the day, it's just reminding ourselves that we don't have to set impossibly high standards on ourselves or meet these expectations that we expect ourselves to meet or other people expect from us.
And that there's no such thing as too little or too big, and to remind yourself that you are so loved and to stay cool.
Great.
Bye guys! Thank you so much for watching our first episode.
We love you!